Yo, welcome back to Mike and Loader, yo. It's just Jew and K Dub today. You know what I mean? We don't know where our friends is at. They don't really want to, you know what I mean? Now, big shout out to me real quick. I cut my hair off, yo. Long hair Jew is no more for the time being. You feel what I'm saying? I got the fresh cut, you know what I mean? We doing
Motherfuckers
something
tripping.
new. Yeah, I got a new job, so we switching it up. Anyway, let's get to the shit that y'all want to hear about. So we just want to quickly recap. It's gonna be a real short episode today. Because me and K Dub is the only one who's showing love.
Yeah.
But we want to recap real quick the Crawford and Canelo fight. Let me be the first to say I was wrong. I had Canelo winning this fight. Um, and it's funny because even my dad, he's been a boxing fan for years and years and years, he said Canelo would lose. He made the point that Canelo always has trouble with boxers, which I mean, I'm sure we all saw the fight and we can agree. He has some trouble with a real boxer. But definitely shout outs to Crawford. It was a very convincing victory. I don't think that fight was very close. Um, one judge had it, I think 116, 112. Um, Definitely a pretty convincing win for Crawford. Congrats. He's the undisputed super middleweight champ. So and a class act too. Throughout the whole event, an absolute class act. And I believe he gave Canelo his belts back too, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
You want to give some input on that, Kate? Up.
I mean, man, look, Crawford, what can I say? He's a boxing magician, pretty
Yeah,
much. Like switch
agreed.
hitter, like the skill set was everything was there. Like,
Agreed. I think he's so adaptable too to every opponent he's facing. It's like
yeah,
his mind is always working and figuring out a loophole.
yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like Crawford. I mean, Canelo. He just couldn't find an opening. He couldn't
He,
find an opening. They both landed some shots, but it was clear Crawford landed the clearer, yeah, more meaningful shots
right.
in that fight for sure.
You know what?
Definitely for sure.
You know what I also think? Like for him to be the bigger man, like he didn't necessarily force the fight.
Yeah, agreed.
Like he was like Crawford was moving around a lot for like too much in the
Hmm.
earlier rounds, and he just didn't know what to do. Like he probably he had to have known like going into the fight, Crawford is just gonna move around because I'm the bigger man. He doesn't want to
Hmm.
get caught with a flush shot by me.
Yeah.
So it's like why did if Canelo knew that going in, why didn't he just go in and like force the fight?
Well, I wouldn't say he was scared or anything like that, but I think that's definitely a respect between two fighters. I think maybe Crawford did surprise him a little bit with his power, but I think also going in there to brawl with him, I'm sure he is well aware of Crawford's defense, and I'm sure he's aware that I think just rushing him, trying to brawl with him is not exactly going to work. You know what I mean? I mean, if Crawford's movement is immaculate, and I
Yes,
don't think that he's going to be the kind of fighter that, as Canelo, you can just force him in a corner. You know what I mean?
true, but
Um,
true.
and I think in the few trades that they did have, I think Crawford got the better of him. And I think early on, after Crawford landed some decent shots and got the better of some of those exchanges, Canelo was like, okay, I don't want to brawl with him. But granted, I think in any other scenario, this is like almost unnatural how well he's moved up three weight classes.
Yes,
Um, I mean, I don't know what he walks around at outside of the ring. I'm sure that does play a factor in how they perform in the ring and how comfortable they are at certain weights, depending on what they walk around at. But I mean, he seemed right at home. He seemed like he was right where he needed to be. He came for business,
yeah.
and you know what I mean. He put it down, and that was that. That was pretty. It was pretty one sided.
I just feel like Canelo. I mean, I picked Crawford to win, but I just feel like Canelo should have did more. Like
Yeah.
Crawford couldn't knock him out.
Hmm.
Crawford wasn't going to knock him out, and the only way I think he would have got Canelo to get a knockdown is if it would have taken like an accumulation of flush shots
Yeah.
to the body or maybe upstairs. But he didn't necessarily do that. That's why I think Canelo probably should have just sold out a little bit earlier. Probably like try to engage, try to get Crawford to engage more. Because
Hmm.
you're the bigger man. Like, this dude is not going to knock you out. Like, he fought Triple G. He didn't
Yeah,
fought some big dudes. He fought Bivol at 175, and he didn't get knocked out or knocked down. Canelo, I
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
never
yeah.
seen him hurt, knocked down, or knocked out. I just felt like he should have did more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely for a tough guy, he definitely could have took a little bit more of a risk
Yeah,
going in there. I think
but
Crawford really did surprise him with his power, though. I think there's a couple at
probably kept him
moments in the
honest a
fight.
little bit.
Yeah, I think there was a couple moments in the fight where he got caught with like a jab or a straight, and he kind of looked at him like, okay, like
Yeah,
I see it's not, a cat scratch, but all in all, I think it was a great fight. I think it was phenomenal. I think this was good for boxing as a whole to see like two of the best fighting each other. We don't always get that. It's
right.
always, I think boxing has become such more of like a business thing, and people, they're like, well, wherever the money is or whatever, and then you have like the birth of this whole
Yeah,
Jake Paul situation where it's like money, okay, like I'll do it, and they don't really care about the state of boxing, but I think boxing needed this fight. Like this was something that had to happen. These are
It-
pretty much the two top dogs, and they were like, "All right, let's do it."
yeah.
So this was definitely like this was like for me. I like to compare it to like Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar fighting. To my UFC fans out there, those were the two top dogs in the heavyweight division. Brock Lesnar had came from wrestling, and um, he was dominant coming into the UFC. He was kind of running guys over, very explosive, very strong,
But he's
Olympic
a different
wrestler.
breed though. He was a
He's
different breed
he's
in UFC.
different, but Cain Velasquez stopped him.
Yeah, it took
So
like a real bigger dude as
yeah,
big as him to
so
get him out of there.
yeah, for sure. It was
Stop his reign of terror.
definitely yeah, it was definitely because he was holding the UFC hostage like he do the WWE. I ain't gonna lie, but he it was definitely like the two top dogs. Like, all right, like we're gonna fight, and it was a good fight. It was a good fight. I don't know.
you
I
know,
think this was very healthy for boxing.
you know what I also think? Like these are the top two dogs, but it's like think about this. It took bringing a dude up from three divisions down all the way up to fight a guy that he had no business even really being in the ring with. If you
That's
really
true.
think about it, Crawford had no business even taking this fight. Nobody would have been like, "Yo, he ducked Canelo,"
Right,
because he was
right.
three divisions down. Like this was like a dream fight that was just a dream at one point, and now
Right.
it became a reality because
Yeah.
the public demanded it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of money behind it. So he challenged himself and went up three weight classes
Yeah.
and no rehydration clause. So
Yeah. And the two of them definitely, showmans to their credit. Like they
yeah,
they definitely are gonna put on a show for the fans.
right,
Um, but also like again, like it brings us to my point earlier, and I'm not hinting at that he did anything illegal or whatever, but it's like almost unnatural
yeah,
how seamlessly he moved up three weight classes. But that goes right back to my point where like I think it kind of depends like what he walks around at away from
right.
boxing. Um,
Probably like 160 maybe.
yeah, roughly.
If yeah, if he just fought at 154 before that fight, then he probably was already walking around maybe 160.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe 160. I'd say like he's probably 160 2 weeks out. You know what I mean? Like from a fight at 154, I think maybe 2 weeks out, he's like 160. I think he might walk around at like 160, 165 around there. Because it'll fluctuate too with like training camps and how soon they fight and you know.
Yeah,
But I think at any given time, if you ran into Crawford in the street, he'd be like 160, 165.
right.